The good book says your sins will find you out. Just ask Jimmy Swaggart about that. No, this isn't the Revival Channel or an episode of This Is Your Life, Bob Packwood. Poor Bob. I feel sorry for him, but it was his own fault. But someone has to tell him that's not how to get women's. I'm Victor Ives, and the deep, dark secret I'm supposed to talk to you about is Sinister Cinema. Like a bad dream or a freeloading brother-in-law, it just keeps coming back. On Sinister Cinema, I played a pompous, self-inflating, opinionated authority figure, sort of a Rush Limbaugh with a beard. The first episode of Sinister Cinema was aired almost 20 years ago. I was 12 at the time. And yet almost every other day someone comes up to me and says, "Didn't you used to be Victor Ives?" Or some pretty young thing will come up and say, "What a thrill to meet you, Mr. Ives. I used to watch Sinister Cinema every Saturday night that my mommy would let me stay up that late." We even found out that Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, grew up watching Sinister Cinema. I wonder how many other kids were screwed up by watching that show and are making a living from it, or maybe even worse, running a TV station or an automobile dealership. The truth of the matter is that Sinister Cinema was something of a phenomenon. We were #1 every single week we were on the air for over 3 years, with as high as a 60 share of the audience. On Saturday nights, we brewed up a recipe which combined equal portions of satire, which appealed to the hip crowd who enjoyed being in on the put-on, some silly, scary stuff no one really took seriously, and some slightly serious discussion for the film and movie buffs.
The original Dracula. Bela Lugosi had created the role on the stage 2 years earlier. In fact, this 1931 film is based on the stage adaptation rather than Bram Stoker's chilling novel. At the height of his career, Lugosi received as much fan mail as the top screen idols of the day. Bela claimed over 90% of it came from women who were attracted by his Hungarian accent and the hidden sensuality of the vampire role. The sexual aspect of the Dracula character was later capitalized on in the recent remake with Frank Langella and the spoof Love at First Bite, which catapulted George Hamilton into near legitimacy in moviedom, ranking him right up there with immortals like Tab Hunter, Paul Lynde, and Wendell Corey.
Another level of appeal was nostalgia. Then, as now, there was a nostalgia craze going on. Anytime there's a nostalgia craze, there's also a rise in the popularity of mysteries and old monster movies. Maybe the reason we're so fond of the things that used to scare us is because the reality of the things that scare us now is so much more frightening. No other monster movie show in the entire country was #1 in every single age group. We pretended the secret of our success was having the viewers call the rating services.
You are watching Sinister Cinema. Write it down in your rating diary if you've got one. It's got to be rating week. We're running 2 good movies in one night. That's right. Sinister Cinema with a C, yes. Not an E, no. C-I-N-E-M-A. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. Oh, and by the way, now if the rating service has never called you or didn't send you a little diary to fill out, call them up and tell them you watch our show. That's if you're not ashamed to admit it.
The show never dwelt on the gruesome or gory. We made fun of that. About the only really shocking thing that ever happened on the show was on the rare occasions that we got to show a good movie. The station hated it when we told the viewers what was on the other channels against us and that our show was a waste of time. All the more reason that viewers watched all the way through, even when I pretended to sleep through the film. Another element which made the show successful were the tie-ins with local radio stations who were tickled to death to cooperate.
That was Claude Rains, the Invisible Man. I want to thank Claude Rains for the use of the rad goggles here. You know, why is it that everybody impersonates Jack Benny and nobody impersonates Claude Rains? Of course, you know who does a real good Claude Rains impersonation? Jimmy Hollister on KVIX Radio, AM 1290, 6 to 9 in the morning. Well, see, we thought we'd get in one more plug before sunrise sermonette. We'll be back in just a few moments after these public service announcements about Girl Scout cookies or something like that.
Another reason for the success of the program is that we did lots of public appearances. When the Opera Association asked us to run the silent Phantom of the Opera at the old Paramount Theater, every single one of nearly 3,000 seats was sold out. And I got to ride the mighty Wurlitzer as it rose up out of the orchestra pit to a standing ovation. What a kick that was. Besides doing benefits and showing up at haunted houses, we haunted the sponsors' places of business, where we gave away Sinister Cinema t-shirts and saucer tossers and posters. Recently, when one of my heroes, Vincent Price, passed away, Channel 6 KOIN TV in Portland called me in to say something about having worked with Vincent Price.
Portlander Victor Ives remembers most of the films Vincent Price starred in, especially the scary ones. The two met face-to-face back in the 70s. Ives was hosting the popular program Sinister Cinema, and Price agreed to do an open for the show. The program aired in Portland between 1975 and 78.
What you are about to see is a monstrous production. Or my name isn't, Vincent Price.
There wasn't anything he wouldn't do, because I think he liked, to scare people.
Ives agrees with those who say Price was different in real person than he was on screen.
Really a fairly spiritual person in many ways, from the standpoint that he was a very sensitive man, a gourmet chef, a connoisseur of fine wines, a consummate painter.
I have a present for you.
With his health deteriorating, Vincent Price returned to the screen in 1990 to play a role in the Tim Burton film Edward Scissorhands. Price held the philosophy, it's awfully easy to get out of the entertainment business. It's not all that easy to stay in. Price stayed in for 55 years. He'll be remembered fondly for many years to come.
Not many like Vincent Price, never was.
Ever since that story ran, my phone started ringing again with people asking if Sinister Cinema was ever going to come back. I said, of course not. Who would be crazy enough to do something like that? Then some demented ad guy and an equally warped producer got to thinking that the youngsters who grew up on the show were now the baby boomers with all that discretionary money to spend. And just maybe perpetuating this travesty again might be a real neat way to attract them as viewers and to sell to that audience. And with a low-budget show like ours, carve out a cost-effective mind share or mind franchise. So look out, folks, we're coming back. Well, they brought back Gilligan's Island, the Brady Bunch, Leave It to Beaver, and the Addams Family, didn't they? TV this season is so bad, I find myself watching them sell gold chains by the yard and cubic zirconiums by the bushel on the garage sale channel. This time, I'll be joined by a very talented young lady, Melissa Daniels, a video disc jockey from a Fox station, who will be playing various character parts and bringing the show kicking and screaming into the 1990s. See? I'm not too old for women's lib. So if you'd like to be involved with Son of Sinister Cinema, and you think you can take the abuse and the continuing increase in business as the show catches on again, just sign on the dotted line.
Till then, good night. And may all your nightmares have a happy ending in the final reel.